in on the end of round 5, and as you can see, we're now checking the game Borscht 7 against Chess Lover 0108. Yeah, I don't know who they are. We'll have to check that. But yeah, what do you think about this endgame, Anna?
Yeah, I think I have to say at least something so that people can help us if the voice is okay or if generally everything's okay now. So we are waiting for your comments, and we are in the end of round 6 or round 5. Oh, it's still round 5. We didn't miss so much, and we are we are in the game between Chess Lover. Chess Lover is a player from Azerbaijan. It's Mahmat Muradli, and he's playing versus Borscht, and Borscht is the nick of Maxim Matlakov, a very strong player from Russia, 2700 player in FIDE rating.
Matlakov, yes, a very well-known chess player. I think he was the second of one of the Russian candidates for World Championship at some point. Yeah, but
He was
he's in
second of
big trouble.
Swidler, if I am not mistaken. They live in the same city of St.
That's true.
Petersburg.
Yeah, the famous St. Petersburg gang, absolutely. Yeah, Peter Svitler second, Matlakov, indeed. But he's in big trouble against this IM from Azerbaijan. Wait, what? No! He... What? Oh, he wanted to
Very
play Queen
important.
d6, but it was a mouse slip.
Mouse slip. Queen d6 was
Oh.
intended to be played, I guess. Oh, it's a pity. It's
Yes.
really a pity. We will see
Wow.
quite many of such situations when
Yeah.
there are some really painful mouse slips. Yeah. White was doing very well in this game. They were pressing and playing for a win, but a mouse slip and the queen is lost and the game is lost.
Yes. That was actually the last game of round 5 as well. We are going straight into round 6. And yeah, the standings have yet to be updated, everyone. On the left, you only see the standings after round 3. But we will, of course, get to see the standings in a few minutes, most likely. So yeah, then we'll see who's in the lead.
I see there is one person with 6 out of 6 already. It's Fandorin.
Fandorin Chigayev is doing really well at this point. Ah, okay.
Once again, it's a Blitz tournament. Time control is 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment per move. And the first top 8 players will qualify for the so-called super final, for the knockout tournament, which starts tomorrow, not yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we should remind everyone of the format actually, so that we can also show what the time control is and what else is going to happen tomorrow. Because like you said, this is only a prelim for the knockout tournament tomorrow. The top 8 finishers after this 10 rounds will compete in the knockout tournament, where there's a prize fund of 3,800 euros. That's not too shabby, I would say. So yeah, the time control, 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment after each move. And Anna, I have a question for you. Did you think of participating here?
I didn't think of participating because yesterday I was informed that I was commented, so I didn't have this choice.
Obviously, yeah. Same here.
Yeah. One more problem is that tomorrow I'm playing Women's Speed Championship, so in case I would be qualified, I wouldn't be able to play it, and it makes not so much sense to join it in this way.
Obviously, because you are going to qualify for the last 8, obviously, and yeah, then it will, then something has to be lost there, the speed championship or the final. So yeah, all right, very sensible. Let's talk a little bit about the games. What do you think about the game between Robert Chessmood and Infernal Xam Bonkratov?
So it's Pancrato versus, I see it's Armenian flag. It's Robert Hovhannisyan. I hope I pronounce him correctly. I know he's a strong grandmaster, over 26 in FIDE rating, and it's a very solid position, very solid opening. I believe white is pressing a little bit, but just a little bit. They have a bishop versus a knight and also more control over the center. The usual plan in such type of the position is that white goes with f4, e5, sooner or later, maybe after trading the rooks, he will do that. He went with e5.
Yeah, this is looking slightly better for white, I think as well. Maybe after f4, f5 is an idea here, just to try and push in the center, or maybe a move like knight e4, knight d6.
I think both of these ideas which you mentioned are really nice. I prefer knight e4, knight d6, but sometimes f5, e6 is also good. But I believe that for playing something like f5 and e6, you need the rooks on the board so that your attack is kind of stronger.
All right,
Queen
and
e2.
we yeah.
A move which is not so obvious, but white is trying so that black takes the queen, and then white will bring the king more toward the center. They wanted to gain a tempo this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once again, in endings, it's important to get the king into the game. And so yeah, white wants black to take on f2 so that the king is going to come in the center. Yeah, this is looking very good for white, I would think. It's still a long road ahead. Black is still very solid, and yeah, the only advantage that white has is a space advantage. But yeah, also if you take a look at the time, then white is doing extremely well. Do you have, Anna, a question? Do you have like a general rule about tournaments like this? Like if you have 2 seconds increment, what would be, how would you deal with your time in such a tournament?
I think I am definitely not an expert if we are speaking about the online events.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, for example, for me, it's much better to have an increment, because if there is no increment at all, you have to be very, very quick, and this is not where I'm good at. So I prefer to have at least 1 second, but 2 seconds is even better. And when you're playing on the last seconds, so that if you have a serious material advantage, you will manage to convert it and you will not be flagged.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about Entitled Tuesdays. I also talked about how to manage your time. And yeah, it is. What do you think about the rule never get below a certain point in time, so that you always have at least a few seconds to think? Like never get below 10 seconds or never get below 5 seconds?
I think it's a good rule, and for each player they may somehow set this limit where they shouldn't go below which time. But in general, it's about practice, about how much experience you have with online games. Of course, it's better not to spend too much time, but obviously it's a game and sometimes you need it. So it's not so easy. You may think like you should play quicker, but still, I mean, it's not so easy to do. You need to take decisions. Sometimes you don't know what to do and you're spending time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's you need to weigh at what point you have to think. You have to spend your time more or less. Yeah. Yeah, it takes practice, most definitely, experience, of course, knowledge, and yeah. Okay, back to the game. We are
Knight c5.
Yeah, knight c5. Good job. King d4, knight f2, bishop f1.
Bishop f1, and now the b pawn is running.
Yeah.
h5 is a good move. King takes f5, and now all black needs is to give the f2 knight for the b4 pawn, and it will be a draw.
Yep, because
and despite of white will be still a piece up, and even 2 8 pawns, it's still a draw, but it's really difficult to bring the knight.
Yes, and
But
that's because of the king on d4. It's totally dominating the knight on f2, who does not have enough time to stop the b pawn, and now white is totally winning, although it does take a little bit of technique. You could lose your queen if you're not careful, but
be
okay, this is
careful with the
grandmaster level.
forks. Like knight f6 could be the fork, but it's the check. So white won this game. Black
Yeah.
was fine.
So we still got a lot of players playing their games. Let's take a look at Anton Smirnov against Coco Nero. That's probably a reference from a historic person. I have no idea.
It's
Yeah,
Nikita Vityugov
Vityugov.
playing with black pieces.
They
It's
have
not obvious by his nick, but it's Nikita Vityugov.
they have such interesting names, these Russian players. Well, yeah, Thunderine, Infernal, Xam. We've got Coco Nero. Yeah. I'm just Roland on Chess.com, and you're just Anna, I believe, right?
I am Anna Muzyczuk.
Yeah.
As easy as that, I didn't try to think about some complicated name. I just went with my name and surname.
Mhm.
And looking at the game, we see that white is playing for a win.
Mhm.
White has a pawn up, but it's not so easy to break this fortress. It's not so easy to find a plan how to
Yes.
improve the position of the pieces. By the way, I have a question in return. I have one question to you. What do you think? How many points will it be enough to be qualified for the top 8?
Oh, that's an important question, actually. Yeah. So we've got 312 participants still, and that means that it is less hectic than in the Title Tuesdays, where we've got about 800 and 900 participants nowadays. But yeah, with 300, my guess would be about 8.5, somewhere around there. There should be the benchmark. Yeah, but 8.5. That means that yeah, the players that are now on 5 out of 6 can only afford to lose one more draw or one more point. So yeah, that is going to be a very difficult task for any of them, of course. Yeah, what do you think? 8.5? 8 sounds good. 9? I don't know.
I didn't expect that. But if I had to bet on something, I would say that if you make 10 out of 10, that will be great. You will be qualified.
Wow,
If
that's
you
clever.
have 9 or 9.5, you have good chances. With 8.5, I think you still have good chances, while with 8, maybe it will not be enough.
Yeah, white played bishop c6, forcing the pawn ending, which would be good. Would be winning for white, I believe, but black did not take the pawn ending and instead went for this ending, which very likely will still be a draw because of the strong bishop on e1, which is
So the
eyeing
bishop
the
is
g3
attacking the
pawn.
g3 pawn, and it's very difficult to defend it. Well, to defend it, it's not so difficult. You can keep the knight on e2 and kind of defend it, but then you will not have enough of pieces well, the b4 pawn is already gone, but before, if you bring the king, the black king will also control it, so you really need the knight to promote the b pawn, but then you can't bring the knight.
And we have a draw. Something that we have not done yet is take a look at one of the women participants here, and that is Mukzul. Okay, that's it.
Okay,
with
it's
the
not
white
because
pieces.
I'm playing with her tomorrow. Let's take a look at her game, but it's about to end soon.
Ah, so you can prepare a little bit. Yeah, keep an eye on your opposition there. Yeah, she's doing
preparing this way, and I am commentating.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
way is better?
Doing two things at the same time. She drew 2.5 out of 6. I think she's doing very well, close to half the points that you could earn here. So yeah, let's take a look at the last game that is still going on, and that is Deep versus Guillem from Spain. It looks close to winning for black, but white is extremely solid, and yeah, it's not so easy to make progress in this game. Do you think black has any winning chances, Anna?
Black has winning chances, though I believe theoretically it should be a draw. Usually when you check these positions with the computer, the engine will say it's -2 or -3, I don't know. But it's difficult to make progress, and there is no way sometimes. For example, in this position, I don't know how to...
Yeah, I'm also
How to win it.
struggling to find a plan. Maybe you want to get the king to g4 at some point, but white will always have a check on g8, so... Yeah, this might be one of those positions that that black will try to play out for the longest of times, and yeah, this could take a while actually.
This game will...
Oh!
Look at this!
No!
Black blundered the rook.
Black blundered. Rook takes a6,
Wow.
now winning the rook. Oh,
Black wanted to bring the rook to e6 and to attack the bishop on e3 this way, but after some checks they simply blundered it, unfortunately.
yeah, the tables have turned now. This should be a clear win for white now, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's very easy. Just rook g4, then you bring the king to f4, you attack the f5 pawn.
Yeah. So this should also be over. This is the last game of round 6, and then we will have round 7, obviously. And yeah, we are going to... Let's quickly take a look at the standings at the moment. These two players have 2 out of 5 at the moment. One of them, probably white, will have 3 out of 6. Yeah, so that means that they're not in the top standings. In the top standings are Pankratov and Van der Reen with 6 out of 6. The only 2 players who are on a full 100% score yet.
I'm checking the technique, and white's technique is actually not so amazing. They are really struggling to make some progress, though the position doesn't seem to be so difficult. But when you're under a time pressure, it's not easy. Yeah, just push this king in the next move. King f4, go. Yes, right. And now king g5 or king e5, bishop f4, and you will win this pawn. Check, maybe?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Check. Bishop f4, most likely. And
Bishop f4 and take this pawn.
Yeah, it should be.
But be careful with the stalemates. Stalemates.
Yeah,
With the king on f5, there are maybe some stalemates.
Yeah, white should be a bit careful there. Yeah, but after bishop f4, the f5 pawn will fall, and it's over.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
Deep Sen Gupta, grandmaster from India, lost because of a rook blunder, unfortunately. Yeah, so we're waiting for round 7 to start. And actually the game started, and let's quickly go to the top game. That is Pankratov against
game of
Van
the
der Reen.
leaders, both players with 6 out of 6.
Is there someone you're rooting for, Anna? Do you have like a person that you would... Oh, no.
Yes. It's a draw after 2 moves. Very exciting game.
That was my second question.
It's good for both of the players, but it's not good for the spectators. We would prefer to see a real fight. Anyway, I was asked if I am rooting for anyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, difficult question, but not so difficult. I mean, I know there are many Ukrainian players in the field. For example, we have already seen one of the games of Zakharia Fimenko. I also saw that Vladimir Onishchuk is one of the participants, and he is a good rapid and a good blitz player. So I really hope he will make it to the top 8. I am rooting for him.
All right, and we also have Yuri Kutsubov on the 11th place at the moment, also a fellow countryman of yours. Yeah.
Yes, nice.
The only person I see is Joppie, and that is the one, that is Jordan van Foreest. Yeah, that would be my pick. I hope that guy will do very, very well. He's doing okay, 5 out of 6. Yeah, and Yuri Kutsubov, the best Ukrainian player at the moment, with also 5 out of 6. Right, what about this position? These two players...
Onishchuk is also at 5 out of 6. So.
Let's go there. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So what about this position? Do you think that which color would you prefer and why?
Which color would I prefer and why? It's a very sharp position because we see that white decided to castle short while black went for castling long. And white kind of already started an attack, was playing a4. So that looks a bit dangerous. But somehow I feel that white's pieces are a little bit misplaced because it's not so easy to start an attack. For example, after b4, there is a trick with bishop takes b4 as the queen is pinned. Be careful with this. White has problems to develop the c1 bishop. They went for rook e1. Perhaps the idea is to play knight f1 and bishop g5 or knight f1, knight e3 to improve the position of the knight. We will know soon.
Yeah. What I'm wondering about is why black doesn't also go for a kingside attack with h5 and h4, for example, to try and create some weaknesses. I'm thinking that black wants to try and play this positional, maybe get a knight on d3. But if white gets enough time, for example, gets this b4, b5 idea in, then black could be in trouble. So black should not take too much time reconstructing his pieces. But yeah, so far, my estimation would be that it should be about equal. I think I would prefer black slightly because of the d file that he has currently under control, more or less. So after a move like knight c5.
Knight c5 is possible, though what were you about to do after b4?
Just knight b3.
Knight b3?
Yep.
Yeah, wow, you're not scared.
Not afraid.
To place your knight on b3, it's like a little betrayal, but knight b3, and if the rook goes somewhere, for example, rook b1 attacking the knight, then you have a nice trick with knight d4.
Yes.
I think that was your idea.
That's true.
But you wanted to hide it.
Yeah, I wanted to surprise you with that. Unfortunately, that did not work, but okay. Okay, so this game is in progress. Let's quickly scoot over to another person who's on 5.5 out of 6. So that is Coco Nero against Cranky.
We see him again.
Yeah, he's playing very well lately with 5.5 out of 6. So he's also in contention for the top 8 spot. And how is he doing in this game?
All right. He has good chances to be qualified to the top 8. And let's take a look at this game. If I was played now, white is... that was an important moment because if I was with the idea that to get rid of this d4 pawn and then attacking with knight c5. So knight a2, I believe it was a smart option, and now we don't have this knight on b4. After knight c5, we can also play bishop c4. But we have to regroup the rook, because the rook on a2 is really doing nothing.
For the moment, I think that black is doing very well. So FIDE Master from Azerbaijan doing extremely well. Could be a big surprise in this tournament if he keeps playing like this. One idea that maybe is good for white is to play the bishop to f2 and try to undermine the knight on c5.
Sometimes the ideas like b4 maybe in the air. Bishop c7 was...
that's very clever as well. I did not see that tactic. The idea to take here. But knight d3, very good answer.
So we go for a different colored, opposite colored bishop ending.
It seems that white is a pawn up though.
White is a pawn up and they will place their bishop on c3 and the plan will be to go g4, g5 at some moment. Don't blunder the rook, please, and then go with g4, g5, and because you have to attack on that side. Yeah,
the rook was under attack, so yeah, king, go to e3. This is such a pleasant position to play for white. You can play this without risk for about 50 moves if you want, for 100 moves if you want, And yeah, just keep creating problems for your opponent here. And he's going for your plan with g4 and g5 at some point. Yeah, to create weaknesses on the king side there.
And to make the bishop on c3 active, because otherwise it's quite passive, while after g5 we will open this diagonal.
So what do you think are black's chances to hold here? Is it very likely that he will make a draw? Because with the opposite colored bishops, there is a chance for black still.
Yes, these endgames with opposite colored bishops are somehow very often ended in a draw, but it's when there are no rooks on the board or some other pieces. When there are additional pieces like rooks, that increases the chances of the side who has material advantage. So if black could trade the rooks, that would be perfect for them. But with the rooks, it's a big problem. Bishop d1. Black decided to give the g7 pawn and create some counterplay. Maybe it's a wise choice because this way it's easier to play.
Yeah, it's now becoming more complicated. White does need to exchange the pawns in a correct way. E5 makes sense. Oh, but white's simply 2 pawns up now. Yeah, because after bishop takes e5, all pawns are protected, and white has, or f takes e5, also possible. Yeah, white is simply 2 pawns up now. So this is looking very, very well for Coco Nero. I keep struggling with that name, but okay. It should be good. I think that black, is about to lose this game, unfortunately. And that means that one of the biggest surprises, I would say, so far, has finally lost a game. Yeah, FIDE Master. This is a Grandmaster packed event with so many Grandmasters from all over the world participating. So as a FIDE Master, you can be happy with your performance at the moment.
Of course, he's really doing very well. Let's see how he will do in the last games, and perhaps he will qualify.
Yeah, you'll never know. There are huge surprises. There have been huge surprises as well in the title Tuesdays, so who knows? Indeed, it could be done. Are you rooting for the youngster, Anna? Like, we need an FM, we need a surprise here in this tournament.
I think I have to be more or less neutral, right, as a commentator.
Well, we're only human. We sometimes can root for players. I don't think that's a problem at all.
Yes, it's nice when some young players are performing well and when there are surprises in the tournament. I saw that Firuza just made a draw, another draw.
So that means that he is on 5.5 out of 7. That is cutting it close to get into the top 8, as we've discussed before. You probably need 8.5 or 8 points out of 10 to qualify. And actually the youngster is doing really, really well in this game. And he won both of the pawns, and white is now going to make a draw. So yeah, another upset. So he was down 2 pawns, but he showed great resilience and actually managed to make a draw.
Yes, very good defense by a young player from Azerbaijan. I was really pleasantly surprised the way he was playing, the way he was defending against a stronger player. And a draw. We see a draw.
Yeah, so now let's move on to another game. We've got Antipov versus Aravind Chess. Ooh. Yeah, interesting endgame. Okay. Both players
Rook
on 5
h6 was an interesting choice. He gave the rook because the bishops were very strong and the game is already decided.
Yeah, there was too much coordination between the bishop and the queen there. Okay, round 6 is coming to a close. Let's take a look at Verde Notte, Mr. Gawain Jones from England. Also a potential candidate to win this tournament, but he is on 4 out of 6, so he already lost 2 points there.
It's really heartbreaking to watch the games when people are down to 3 seconds. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, it's very hard to play with in time trouble like this. Yeah, I've probably also made a lot of blunders in time scrambles like this. Yeah, what do you think about this? Is Gawain gonna make a comfortable draw against Matibar, or is White going to win this?
I think it will end in a draw, not just take on d2, and it's
Hmm.
a draw.
Yeah.
Why not to go to the pawn end again? Game
No.
was just drawish.
Because he won the pawn on c4, the pawn on c5. For a second there, I thought that he gave the rook. But okay, 2 more games. Let's go to Ochlop against Kazakuski. The last game still in this round. Let's take a look.
And this should be win for White. Yeah, the knight is coming to e6 and c7. Yes, White won it.
Yeah. And that means that we are done with round 7. And after round 7, we are going to take a small break, everyone. And we'll be back in a few minutes. And then we're going to talk about the possible winners and the current standings after round 7. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.
See you soon.
Damn it. And we are back, everyone, with the Leon Blitz tournament here on Chess.com. Welcome, everyone. We just had round 7, and we are now going on to the last few games, the last few rounds. So, yeah, what do you think so far about the tournament, Anna? And is there anyone who is sticking out so far?
So far, so good. 7 rounds have been played. You have 3 leaders at the tournament with 6.5 out of 7. In total, 10 rounds will be played, and the time control is once again 3 minutes plus 2 second increment. And the first 8 players will qualify for a knockout tournament, which is starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
so it's a really exciting event.
Yeah, let's pull up that slide once again. So the format of this tournament is this one. We've got 10 rounds today, and the top 8 will participate in the knockout tournament. And yeah, it was an open tournament, so everybody can join, and the top 8 finishers are going to play tomorrow in a knockout tournament. Yeah, so very exciting. Yeah, so far 3 leaders, as you mentioned. But it's not over yet. If those 3 players lose the rest of the games, then they're not going to qualify. Yeah, because we just had a discussion about what it would take to actually qualify for the top 8. And we said about 8.5 points, right? Yeah, there are some players who already lost a few points. So if you take a look at the standings, we've got Firouzja with 5.5 out of 7. So he more or less needs to win the rest of the games to get to 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, it will be a tough task ahead for Firouzja.
That's true, a very tough tournament, and if you're losing some points, then it's not so easy to qualify, of course. But for me, the biggest surprise is Cranky 007, and it looks like it's a young player from Azerbaijan, Hazar Babazadeh, who was on place 4 before this round, what is a huge surprise for such a young player. So
yeah, we just saw him saving a position which was, I think, lost with 2 pawns less in a rook versus bishop endgame, but he manages in time trouble to save the position, and now he's on 6 out of 7. And once again, a quick draw between Van der Reen and Gandhi Van. I guess they're trying to draw their game to the knockout tournament tomorrow. Do you think that's a good strategy?
We will see it in the end. If they qualify, it was good. If not, well, I'm kidding a little bit. Of course, if you make some quick draws, you can have kind of more energy for the next game. So sometimes if you are showing the top places, it's good to have short draws. But of course, people would prefer fighting chess, and they would prefer if the games are lasting longer. So there are still many games in progress.
We need to talk about this double bishop sacrifice from the black player here. So he sacrificed the bishops on g2 and on h2 just now. Is this winning for black, or is this a draw? What is he going for?
Good question.
He's going for it.
Rook f6. He didn't want to repeat the moves and make a draw, so he thinks his position is better. But is it a mate? Knight f3, rook h6, knight h2.
Queen f4, taking on h2. Wow, very nice, very nicely done by
Very
black.
nice. But what about bishop? Yeah, bishop h5, rook h5, and f3, just protecting the knight.
It's not over yet. It could
it's
be.
Not over.
Yeah, maybe it's okay. Black does have 2 pawns, at least. So if black takes the bishop, he has 2 pawns for the piece.
I think he has 3. No, he has 2. Yes. Sorry. Calculation skills.
So, yeah. If black cannot mate, then this should be good for white. Yeah.
If black cannot mate, then it's bad news for them, because the rook on h5 will be kind of out of play.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring the knight to the attack.
You do have the knight on h2, which is a permanent defender now in the king's position. I would definitely pick white, but it's not without problems. For example, the c4 pawn is now hanging. But okay, the bishop on c3 is a beast at the moment. After a move like queen e2 and rook g1, white could already start thinking about counter-attacking in this position. Yeah, I think that the double, it looked very nice, the double bishop sacrifice, but it seems to be incorrect, unfortunately.
No, he could have repeated the moves and then it would be a draw.
You're right, black went for the win, but a few moves ago he could have also went for a repetition of moves. You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. So he went too far with the play for the win.
Was okay. Completely okay.
Yeah. Do you think that Konovets is in a must-win situation?
That's an interesting question. He has 6 points at the moment. So he's, if he manages to hold this one, which will be good for him, I believe, because his position is worse now. So then he will have to win the next 2.
Yeah, then he is in a tough spot for the last 2 games. And he's going to play very strong opponents in the last 2 rounds, most definitely. I am curious to see how our youngster is doing. So let's quickly move over to that game. Cranky versus, let's see. Cranky is playing against Robert Chessmood. And yeah, what do you think about this position? We're closing in on time trouble. They both have about 35 seconds left, and white is a pawn up, which is Cranky actually. So Cranky is doing very, very well once again.
Really, the bishop on d6 is very strong, but he has a small problem on the d2. He has to take a serious decision if he goes f3 or g3. He decided to play f3, which is, from human point of view, very logical. You want to block this d5 bishop, but h3 is annoying. Finally, he was forced to play g3. But his king is a bit weaker now, so I believe he will want to go queen g4 to trade the queens. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and then white will have a pawn up in an opposite colored bishop pending, which could be, well, I think objectively computers, if you let computers play this position against each other, then it will most likely be a draw. But practically, it's very hard to defend a position like this, I believe.
I agree with you, and please pay attention to the b5 move. It's a very typical trick, so that c takes b6 was not possible because the bishop on d6 would be unprotected in this case.
Yeah, and it's good to include the pawn on b5 because it stops the move c4 forever and advances on the queen side for white in general. So yeah, white traded off the rooks, and I'm not sure why, because I don't see any way of progress for white at the moment. I think it should be a clear draw now. There's no pawn breaks on the queen side, there's no pawn breaks on the king side. All the pawns are defended by the bishop, so yeah, this should be a quick draw.
It seems so. I think in order to play for a win, white had to keep the rook on the board.
Yeah, maybe Cranky was satisfied with a draw as well. Just playing for the knockout tournament tomorrow, trying to secure his place there. Actually, does black maybe have a chance?
No, not really.
Nah, the king is just, if the king comes to b3, then the king is going to come to c1, and it should be an easy draw once again. All right, that means that this is surely going to end in a draw. Then let's move on to another game. Okay, I'm going to indulge myself here. Let's take a look at the Dutch lad, Jordan van Foreest, called Joppie on Chess.com. He is black, so he's playing for a win here, but this is a theoretical draw.
Yes, he's playing versus Sergei Azarov. It's not to be theoretical draw, but it's not that very, very easy. I hope that Sergei Azarov will make a draw because he's a very experienced player.
Is it a draw
Usually,
now, by the way? I'm not 100% sure if it's still a draw. I think so, yeah. I thought that if the pawn went to f3, then it was winning. But maybe that's not the case, because the problem with this position is that it's hard for black to push the pawn even further, because if the king moves away, then the white king is coming in. And if, yeah, that is more or less the idea of a rook ending like this. It's very hard for black to continue with the pawn. Although after king e2 and then f2, isn't this winning? I think it's
I don't
winning
think
again.
it's winning.
Rook e2 back, all right.
The main idea, yes, that now you have to keep giving the checks. And now, yeah, some more checks.
Mm-hmm.
And now bring the rook.
Yeah, it should be.
It was very important to play king h3 because king g1 was losing, I believe, because
Yeah.
of king g3.
Because of king g3, and that is a theoretical win. Yeah, this is nice. We're discussing a theoretical ending. King e2, so once again, black has the option to play f2. But I guess the problem is that after king g2, black cannot advance even further, and it should still be a draw. Because of checks on rook a2 and rook a1. Yeah, so black is trying his best to convert this, but it should already be over, especially after rook d4, because now the pawn ending after rook e4 is simply a draw. So yeah, too bad. Good effort from Jordi. Joppie, he's still in the running, and Sergey is also still in the running for the top 8 spot. But now, unfortunately, it's a draw. Let's move on to another game.
Very good defense by Sergey. As I expected, he would manage to hold that game because he is an experienced player and he has seen so many rook endings in his life, I believe.
Yeah,
So
we're now on to the game between a chess warrior and, Nervisika. Yeah, another.
Not so easy to pronounce.
I tried it, but
Nervisika, it's Nervisach is winning.
Yeah, Indian player, grandmaster, doing very well, coming out on 6 out of 8, still in contention for the final 8 spots. Let's check which games are still on the way. We've got Hans Neiman, a youngster who's a big streamer nowadays, and he is playing for. Oh, he already got a mate. Okay,
it was a draw just a few moves ago. Maybe we can go just a little bit. A few moves like if we go to move 95 or 96, it was still a draw.
It was still a draw, yeah. But then the maneuver came with knight g3 and king h3. Probably the losing move was the move rook a4, after which black has a mating net with knight g3 and rook g2.
I think we can also mention about the possibility to a stalemate. For example, if we play how can we do that? If we play king g1 on move 98 and black still goes knight g3, there is a nice stalemate by playing rook h4. So that if black takes the rook, then the knight is controlling squares.
All right, that's that. So Hans Neiman on 6 out of 8, also still in contention. Then we got 2 players left in the middle of the standings. Those are Brave Spirit against VP Setter, also from Russia. A lot of Russian players at the moment, participants. Looks like a draw. 2 knights, 2 queens, but it is time trouble.
But it's not so easy, I believe.
Yeah, knights are tricky. You could get mated for if you're not paying attention. And yeah, black has a draw already with knight f2 and knight e4. But how to continue?
Try with some other checks like knight c3. The game
king
goes
b2,
on.
Knight b1 perhaps.
From another side.
It should still be
knight e2.
Knight e2, yeah.
Now it's
queen
white
c1.
who can give a couple of checks. Knight e5.
Knight h2 was a possibility, yep.
What's happening? King e4.
It should be a draw though.
Trying to bring the king to a safer place. I thought king f5 would be played.
It's over. Knight f5, yeah.
Oh,
black. White went. White had a opportunity to take a draw there. Went for the win, but instead he got tricked himself. Okay, Brave Spirit did play very bravely and won and managed to win the game in the end against VP Setter. Okay, that is the end of round 8. We are down with the final 2 rounds. And let's take a quick look at the standings at the moment. So we've got Infernal, Gandhi, Vandereen and your countryman Kuzubov in the lead now with 7 out of 8. And then we've got a bunch of 6.5 players on 6.5 points out of 8 rounds. Yeah, we got no time to rest. The games have already started. Round 9. Let's move immediately towards 2 of the tournament leaders, Kuzubov and Gandhi. Your first thoughts on the opening?
I think I have no choice and I have to root for Kosovo, and I really wish to root for Kosovo. We are both born in 1990s, so we know each other quite well. We have played many youth tournaments together. Well, obviously I was playing in the girls section while he was playing in the boys section, but we met quite often when we were young. And he's playing with black pieces. He chose a very solid line against the Catalan with bishop before check and then retreating the bishop to e7. It's considered to be very solid for black. Usually then black places the bishop on b7, the way he did, then rook c8. Sometimes they're trying to push c5. This is the ideas of the opening. And sometimes after knight c3 they can take on c4, and he did take knight d5. I think they are still in the theory.
Yeah, this is a famous structure. I believe this is called the Rubinstein Structure, where white allows to take the bishop on f4. But so black does have the bishop pair, but white now has good control over the center. It's a very interesting setup, and it could lead to very dynamic play. Yeah, would you pick black here or would you pick white?
I don't have experience in this line, in this setup, but to get this position, I prefer white. I don't know, you play the rook on c1, now just d5. And I think white has a slight edge, but yeah, maybe it's still the right call.
94 wasn't played, that was my move. Yeah, so now probably taking back on d5 with either the bishop or with the knight. And 94 wasn't played, but okay, that was this game. Let's move quickly over to another game. I'm expecting, okay, do we have another? Yeah, let's go to MSB2 versus Infernal. Once again, we're taking a good eye on Infernal, who's still in the top of the standings. So yeah, this is looking already a bit dull, doesn't it?
It looks very drawish. I think they will trade the knights, trade the queens, and agree for a draw. Very likely. Oh no, I was wrong. White tries to play for a win, despite of they are they have 1 minute less. So this decision was really not easy.
I think MSB, who is Matthias Bluebaum from Germany, also 2600 player, is thinking that he's in a must-win situation, perhaps. But I think that he might have blundered, because after queen g5, black was threatening mate on g2, and now after he moves the rook, he is actually a full exchange up black. So Infernal, Mr. Ponkartov, is doing extremely well at the moment. And
I also think that white missed this queen g5. It's not an easy move to see, but it was played on the board, and yeah, now black is just an exchange up. White had to take the rook on e8 first.
Yeah, which, yeah, instead of bishop c3, and then he would have kept the exchange, and then it would be about an equal position, more or less. So,
how about the game between Konavets and Fandorin?
All right, let's take a look. thundering. Ooh, we've got another exchange sacrifice if rook takes e3. No, that wasn't an exchange sacrifice. I was hoping for one, but it was not the case. Yeah, your thoughts on this position?
My thoughts, I'm trying to calculate the pawns, and I think white is a pawn up. I hope this time I'm more precise with calculating. So it looks like white should be better because I don't see any reason for not being better being a pawn up.
Yeah, white's pawn structure is a bit damaged though. The pawn on e3 is a potential weakness. And also the square in front of it. The knight could be very well placed on e5, for example. But a pawn is a pawn, and it doesn't seem like black has enough initiative counterplay to compensate for that pawn. So this is looking very good for Konovets. Also
So
time-wise.
Yeah, if Van Doren loses this game, it's not clear. He was leading, and suddenly after losing one game, you have to fight, to really fight for qualifying to the top 8. Maybe he will have to win the next game. He will definitely have to win because with the draw,
Yep,
he will not be there.
that's true. We've mentioned this a few times already, but probably you need at least 8 or 8.5 points to qualify. I would say that he still has a decent shot because he was in the top standings for the longest time, and we determine the top 8 spots by tiebreak. So if there are a bunch of people on 8 out of 10, and then you've got, for example, 6 through 20th place on 8 out of 10, then the tiebreak will decide who will qualify. So yeah, he still has a good shot, but it's not over yet. White is definitely in the driving seat, but it's still a complicated position. Let's move over. I'm very happy to see that my fellow countryman is now in first place. Let's go, Jorda. And let's move over to another game. Let's go back to...
Dr. Bassem?
Yeah, Dr.
Let's
Bassem.
go to Dr. Bassem because there is a very beautiful knight on h8. Look at this knight. I think we have to look at this game just because of this knight.
It is certainly beautiful, yeah. Yeah, that knight needs to go to the doctor, yeah.
That knight is really crying. What have I done so that you put me there?
Yeah, it's defending the f7 pawn, but nothing more than that. And white is simply in cruise control here, just playing g5, maybe f6, maybe even h5 to take even more control of the knight. And yeah, also the pawn on b5, we should not forget. Yeah, this is looking good. So Dr. Bassem is still going strong, still in the race for the qualification.
And Dr. Bassem will share the first place if he wins this game.
Yeah, at least for the time being, because we do have a few leaders. Yeah, for example, Kutsubov, for example, Vanderin, and Inferno, who are still on 7 out of 8, who did not finish their game yet. Okay, white did sacrifice a pawn, by the way, in this position, but yeah, because of the knight on h8, it should still be winning. For example, rook d8 now should win the game, I believe, and after a move like rook b3, oh, first check, why not? And now rook, yeah, perfect. It should still be winning, right?
Rook b3, nice trick. The idea is, the threat is to play e4.
Then e4, black's winning back the piece. You could play a move like rook e8 if you want to, or king f2. And now bishop e4 and h5 should win the game. Yeah, well done by...
Some... wait, no stalemate?
Oh, you're right. Does he have a broken rook?
Rook e2? Oh, he made a big mistake going with the king to e3. He had to go to g1 so that after rook b1 or rook g2 he would take with the bishop, and then the pawn on e5 would have to move so that there was no stalemate. But after king e3, rook e2, king f3, rook e3, and it's a draw.
Yes.
Fantastic fantastic draw resource, and this knight on 8/8 actually helped him in that game to build a stalemate idea.
Yeah, you have to be sharp in every uh, in every position. So you cannot lose focus anywhere. So we've got a result between the two tournament leaders, Vanderin and Konovets. Well, actually, Vanderin. So Vanderin did indeed lose his game. And we've also got a result between the other tournament leaders, which were Gandhi and Kutsubov. Also a draw. So, yeah, we've got a bunch of people with 7.5 out of 9. And let's move on to another game. Let's go to Antipov versus Dredge.
So many people are leading at the moment, and still some of them may join them.
Yeah, so we are also going to check the tie breaks, how that is in the standings, because that could determine who will qualify for the top 8, who will earn, words are hard sometimes, okay, who will qualify for the top 8 and therefore for the knockout tournament tomorrow. Yes, I did it. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Next
of course, well done. Look at the standings now. I believe that 8 point will not be enough for all the players to qualify. So you need to have 8.5 to be sure you are there. And with 8, it's not so clear if you will make it.
Yeah, I agree there. 8 is a gray area there. Yeah, of course, many players are going to go for the 8. And actually, Matibar here lost on time. Yeah, that is something that we also did not see very often in this tournament, losing on time. But that is a big factor as well, of course. You need to be fast.
Be
Right.
careful. So there are 4 games still running.
Mm-hmm.
And there is Frederick Swane versus Viktor Sklarov.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This game is about to end soon.
Yeah,
Like
black is mating in the next few moves. Do not stalemate. Perfect. And only 3 games left. Let's take a look at Undisputed versus Kakaz. Kakaz.
Here white is winning. It's also quite easy. Just rook d8.
Just king f7 or rook d8 should promote the g-pawn. Yeah.
What about the next game? Oh, this will last for quite some time. Orest walk between the Blitz champ.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
Blitz
this could take a long time. Yeah. Yeah. Last game still in progress. We are almost through with round 9, and that means that we only have one round to go. Yeah, so we can already discuss a little bit of the tie breaks and who is in good shape to qualify at the moment. So on the right in the standings, you can see how many points they have, and with 7.5 out of 9 for Yoppie, for example. And on the right of that, you can see the tie breaks, how many points they have, and the more points you have on the right side, the more likely you are to qualify. So Vanderin was in the lead for almost the whole tournament, and with that he's got a huge tie break with 34. So if he wins, he is almost for sure to qualify for the top 8.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, very often people are asking what these tie breaks mean and what is the criteria. Maybe we can try to explain it. It's not so easy, but we will try to. So first of all, the first is the number of the points. So you can see those with 7.5 out of 9, they are leading. But next to them, to determine who is on higher place, you can see that in Fernal has 39.75 and the second place has 35.5. And that number is the number of the this is the number of the points of your opponents. So if you played with stronger people or people who are playing better in this particular tournament, your number will be higher.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
like this. That's why we
So
saw Van Doren very often on the top, and his criteria is the best from people who has 7 points out of 9. He has 34.
yeah, so that means that if Infernal, who has a lot of tie breaks as well, if he makes a draw, then he's most likely to also qualify for tomorrow. Yeah. So let me show you guys once again, one last time, what the format is of this whole tournament. So once again, the format is 10 rounds. The top 8 will participate in the knockout tournament tomorrow. And okay, as some sort of a consolidation, the 9th and 10th player will earn a total of 100 euros each. So they do win a prize if you finish 9th or 10th. And yeah, the time control, once again, 3 minutes plus 2 seconds, increment after each move. And there's a big prize fund for the knockout tournament tomorrow. So yeah, if you like the content of this tournament, then also come back tomorrow when we will have the knockout tournament. Yeah, with the big prizes. Okay, and with this, also the last game is finished. White managed to defend that perfectly with a draw. And now we, of course, have to talk about the standings. What do you think is going to happen? Quick draws?
I think no, I don't expect quick draws. I think everyone will be trying to fight. The leaders with 7.5, most of them will play. So it will be really very exciting. Let's go to the game because it's the last round for today and it's a decisive round. So
Yes, and I believe that this is going to be, I'm now at Konovet versus Yoppie, and this will be a quick draw, after which
I was wrong in one of the games already. It was a quick draw.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the other games?
Not a big fan, but okay. Let's go to Gandhi versus Gogiv.
Gogiv is Anton Korobov from
Yeah.
Ukraine. Anton Korobov will definitely play because he is a fighter. He's always in fighting spirit. And he does play. Yeah, he went for a sharp line. Very interesting line. I like his position with white. I think he's doing good at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with this line, but white has a little bit more space with the pawn on e5. And yeah, black has a nice square on d5 for the knight, but yeah, will white at some point try to create a kingside attack?
They decided to take on d5 to trade the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They are still a bit better. They will place the bishop on d3, they will castle. And this pawn on e5, I believe it's giving white a slight edge, so I still prefer white's position. After castling, white may follow with rook e1. f6 is a nice move, I think, just to get rid of this annoying pawn on e5.
Mm-hmm.
And if we trade the pawns, then the queen comes to f6, then c5 will follow, perhaps. Also be careful, because after e takes f6, there is a possibility to play rook e8 to give a check and still to keep the white's king in the center. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the reason Gogiv, yeah. Anton Korobov is taking his time, and that's what he was thinking about, and he decided not to take that pawn.
I think that Gandhi would be really happy to make a draw here as well. He also has a huge tiebreak at the moment, so if he makes a draw, then he would be most likely qualified as well. But this is an interesting position. We've got, both players have passed pawns. Which pawns are better?
This is the question, but this means the game will be very sharp. White will try to attack. f5, f6, it's the plan.
Yeah, and black will try to play c4, d4, d3 then, I suppose. Also trying to gain space and to disrupt white's bishop on d3. Yeah, I am always scared in positions like this because you actually are always playing for two results. It's really, you have to play really precise in these type of positions. Which color would you take?
I don't know. This is the position where I really don't know. Maybe white. Maybe white is better, but it's not easy to play for any side.
G6, good move.
G6. Can we still play F5?
Yes, that's certainly a legal move here. It's a good. Well, I'm not too sure about that because then you lose the connection between the E and F pawn. But
That's
on the
true,
other
but
hand, it does open up the king side for black, so the king would be more weak if you play a move like F5. But yeah, Anton Korbov, Mr. Gogiev, is not going for F5, but instead moved his rook to H3.
in general, Mr. Korbov Gogiev is known to be a very active player, and he's very strong when he's attacking. He has played many beautiful games, and some of them were even like the best games of the tournament. So I think it's the position he likes to play.
He's
F5 was
going
played
for your
finally.
F5. And
But maybe he did it in a better way. First, he put the rook on h3, so that now after d takes f5, bishop f5, he will already attack the pawn on h7.
yeah, and then h7 will be under attack. Yeah, yeah, maybe
If
a move.
queen takes e5, and then what's happening? Will he take on g6?
I suppose he does. Yeah, the
but
rook on
that's not
h3 is
so clear.
perfectly placed because it also protects the e3 square, which is good not to allow any queen trade, so that your mating attack is still well underway. Yeah, I think that Korbov is doing really well in this position. As you mentioned, the h7 pawn will become a weakness after white takes back on f5. It's not so clear to me how black is going to defend against that.
And black did spend quite a lot of time before taking on f5. He spent 46 seconds to take this decision because I think he didn't like his position anymore.
It
And
would be
after rook
such a
f5,
pity.
it looks so dangerous for black.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is a defense.
that's true. And also with the time, it shows how difficult this position is for black. It's such a pity though, because Gandhi was in the lead in the top 5, top 10 for the whole of the tournament. And now suddenly he's up against a strong Ukrainian player. And suddenly he might be actually out of the qualification. Yeah, sports.
By the way, rook
is tough.
h7 was a really nice blow because first I was thinking about rook f5, but there was a defense. But rook h7 was brilliant.
Very nice. Now probably rook f5 back. The king is totally unprotected on g7. And yeah, this will most likely be a mate in the next few moves. Yeah, d3, maybe a move to disrupt. He's low on time, so he needs to play very quickly, first of all, but also very practically. And everyone, you can keep an eye on the standings on the left, which games have already finished, who will be able to qualify. You need to be in the top 8 spots to qualify for the knockout tournament tomorrow. And actually, I think that Korbov is in the knockout tomorrow because he wins his game against Gandhi. So let's go on to the next game.
Yeah, Korbov played a very beautiful game. There was one more combination in the end. Congrats to Anton. I'm glad about his achievement, obviously.
Yeah.
So
we are now on to the game between Infernal Xam, Mr. Ponkartov, and a wonderful time, Mr. Ming Lee from Vietnam. Yeah, I would say that Ponkartov is doing. Oh boy, he lost the rook on d3. So now, yeah, black won. Ponkartov, the second person to qualify for tomorrow's knockout tournament with 8.5. Yeah. Things are moving quickly. We've got Kuzubov. Let's go to his game. He's playing against Antipov and they are in time trouble, so we're going to stick with this game for now. And Yeah, white's pawn up, but black has a good bishop pair. Black won!
Black one on time. Bishop f1 was
Oh,
the only move. But what? But the problem is bishop b5. And
yes.
there are two pins. The bishop from f1 can't move because there is the pin over the king, and knight b5 is bad because of bishop takes c3, winning the queen.
Yeah, we
So
saw. Yep.
So he missed queen b1, and that's why he realized he missed bishop b5.
All right, on to the next game. Let's see how Vanderin is doing if he manages to secure his spot.
Vandorin.
It's
Where
looking
is
good.
the game? Ah, okay, I see it. Vandorin is doing very well. I think he's winning.
Yeah, and if he wins, he's
Queen?
always sure to qualify as well.
Yeah, queen g7, just trade the queens.
Yeah, a full queen up, so this was looking very good for Vanderin. So no worries there. He lost his game in the previous round, but he managed to come back in this round. Another game, Robert Chessmood against Crescent Moon. That's a really nice name. Playing in a rook ending.
Rook ending. Black is pawn down, but look at these strong pawns, d3 and e3. They are moving quicker than white's pawns, and I think therefore black is better.
Yeah, black
Maybe
should be
winning.
winning now. Rook d6, trying to stop it. Then you've got rook c1, then d1. So that means that Crescent Moon is also on 8 out of 10. And as far as the standings are now, it's looking like 8 is enough to qualify.
But not for all the players, because some of the games are still in progress.
Yeah,
Let's take a look at Cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Cranky 007.
We got another theoretical rook ending.
Yeah. Theoretically, it's a draw, but it's not easy.
Mm-hmm. Cranky playing with the white pieces. Cranky is definitely one of the surprises of this tournament. He has been beating grandmasters left and right, drawing lost positions at grandmasters. So even if he doesn't qualify, he can still be proud of his achievement in this tournament.
Maybe you can also pay attention to the game of Borscht versus Nuber, because this game will decide who will be qualified. They are both on 7 points. And the game has just finished. White won, so Borscht is another player who is joining.
The 8 out of 10 group.
With 8 points.
Yeah. Okay. So only a few more games left. Let's take a quick look at Aquiva Rubinstein and GM Krikor.
Though I'd like to mention he won the game, but his tiebreak criteria is quite low, so he will be the first one. Unfortunately, he will be the first one out of top 8. He's placed number 9, but this is not enough to play in the knockout tournament.
All right. And yeah, these are not important for the standings anymore, but we are going to take a look at the last game still, which is underway.
Look what we have got for an end. Bishop and knight mating the queen.
It's a good way to end the tournament, right? With such an ending, which could take a long, long time.
Yes, you have to get to the position where the king is on the back rank, and then there is a special W or M maneuver. We were trying to explain it with Robert Hess in one of our joint stream, and that's not easy. But if you know how to do it, then
if you practice it a little while, then it's quite easy to do actually. So the first thing that you need to do is to get the king towards the white corner, because then you can mate with the white colored bishop. But the trick is to know how to get there. So the knight is going to disrupt the king so that it needs to be pushed over to the a8 square. Yep.
So basically now it's the best to bring the knight to d7, where it will control the f8 square.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also good. King d6, bishop d5, and then bishop f7. Pushing the king even further.
Nice. So the king is moving to c8. It's good for black. King d8, knight d7. He has his own way.
Yeah.
Just it looks like black will mate.
Yeah, now the knight needs to cover the d8 square at some point. Or yeah, you could go for this fortress with knight b6 and knight d5. That's also a way to go. Because if the knight is on d5, then wherever the black king goes, the white king is still trapped in the corner. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that black will win this, although you never know. There is a 50 move rule, so he needs to be a bit careful there.
Bishop c6 and king b6. I think this is the idea. So the last, yeah, and now bishop d7, cutting the king. No.
Now you want to play bishop 8.
No,
No!
no.
Oh,
Well, now
no!
I believe
He needed to
will
make...
be time to make it.
Oh, now he needs to start all over again. Oh, and actually I think it's theoretically a draw now, because you need about 26 or 28 moves to mate a king with knight and bishop. So that would mean that white would get to the 50 move rule.
I believe it's a draw now, yeah, because of the 50 move rule.
Yeah.
You can't make it.
Oh, he was doing such a
no.
good job. Oh, sorry, she was doing such a good job.
He was doing perfectly, just she had to cut the c8 square, and then the king would have only two places, only b8 and a8, and then it's pretty easy. But when the king went to d7, it was already...
She had the right idea. She wanted to play bishop a6. She just needed to wait one more move. And there you go. The 50 moves have been reached. So, and that is, with that, the end of this tournament. So yeah, we've got the medals in the middle of the screen at the moment. The winner is Infernal, Xam, Mr. Ponkratov, and Antipov, and Gogiev share second and third place. So we need obviously to talk about the standings. So take a look on the left side, everyone, where you can see the updated standings. And we've got the top 8 playing tomorrow in a knockout tournament. So the players are Infernal, Antipov, Gogiev, which is Mr. Korobov, Konavets, who I did not know who that is. Sorry?
Who is Mr. Savian?
Mr. Savian, thank you, Anna. And Joppie, which is Mr. Jordan van Verrees from the Netherlands. Then we've got Crescent Moon from Vietnam, Vandereen, Mr. Chigayev from Russia, and Abu Dhabi from India, qualifying for tomorrow's knockout system. So congrats to those players. Yeah.
Yes, Abu Dhabi is Puranik, and Crescent Moon is Nguyen Ngoc Tron Son, a strong player from Vietnam, and Infernal is Mr. Ponkratov, who won the tournament. Congrats to the top 8. They will continue the battle tomorrow. It will be even more exciting.
Yeah, and we've already had an exciting tournament so far. Who are the players that sprung out to you? Any Any big surprises in the top 8?
I wouldn't say there are big surprises in the top 8, but I believe there are players who are over 2700 and they were like more likely to qualify, while we have some players with 2600 FIDE rating, and that's good. And I was really hoping for this young Azerbaijan player to qualify, but unfortunately he didn't. By the way, how did he finish? Let's check. He finished on place 19, what is also very good. He made 7 out of 10, but he has played with so many strong opponents. We will definitely keep an eye on him in the next tournaments, and personally, I wish him good luck.
Yeah, and the same here. He has shown us really exciting chess and was the biggest upset, in my opinion at least, in this whole tournament. So he did not qualify for the top 8, but he can sure be proud of his achievement there. Any other? I'm just quickly going over the standings here to see if there is anyone we did not discuss. Firouzja. He did not qualify for the top 8. That would be also a big surprise. I actually don't see him in the standings anymore. Yeah, there he is on move 53, place 53. He ended with 6 out of 10. He will not be happy with his tournament here.
I'm sure he won't be happy, but we will see him in many other tournaments. And scrolling the tournament standings, we see many strong players who didn't qualify, but we had how many? We had almost 400 participants in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's
And
big fight.
players are allowed to drop out after they don't have a chance anymore. That is why the amount of players has dropped from 400 to 266. But once again, congrats for these players. Do you have any final words while I change the scene?
You would like me to end this nice video? Sorry
Yeah.
for technical issues in the beginning. We did manage to, okay, not we, but we are thankful to Aran who managed to fix it all. And once again, of course, congrats to the winners. And once again, kudos to the organizers, to the sponsors of this Lyon Chess Festival, to all the people who contributed to make it possible. Because it's really very important to continue with the tradition, to make the chess lovers happy with staging this tournament. So it was really very nice. And the tournament continues tomorrow, so stay tuned. Come to see the final of the Lyon Masters Blitz tournament to the knockout stage. There will be many, many, many interesting games.
Yes, the same here. Exciting chess ahead tomorrow, so keep an eye on the chess channel on Twitch here. Tomorrow in the different time. So in CEST time, probably somewhere in the afternoon. So keep an eye on our Twitch channel, and we'll see you back tomorrow. So tomorrow, knockout system, 8 players who qualified, and hope to see you all there. Thank you for watching, everyone. And this is me signing off. Any last words still, Anna? Or
The last word. Well, for those who are following us today, I would like to mention there is Title Tuesday. It's Tuesday today, so join it, play it, watch it, because it's another interesting tournament which is about to start in 15 minutes, I believe, very soon.
Yep. So another tournament to follow, everyone. Yep. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot for all those who stayed with us today. See you. Bye-bye.